Right, in today's video we're going to fit the Ducati keyless fuel cap to the Multistrada V4S. It's a very simple job. There's not a real lot to it. So the tools required are very simply an Allen key, 4mm, and a small screwdriver. They're the only tools that are required. Right, the basics that we have to do is to remove a few 4mm screws. So we'll start off removing this panel, which consists of removing this screw, this screw, and this screw. This screw is slightly longer than the others. The next two screws to remove, or next screw to remove, is this one here. We'll then remove this screw, this screw, and two screws under here. We can then remove these screws to hold the filler cap. It's easy to remove these before you take the this plastic trim off, because it's just easy to get at them. So if we remove these, the next stage is to remove this trim that we've undone. It just lifts out. Then we can remove this, keep this piece up, we can remove this trim, hold down the filler cap so you can unclip it off it, and that'll just lift out. There's a rubber sleeve that goes down here. You need to slide that up, and you also need to free the USB cable from here. You don't need to take this right out, just flip it over out of the way, just let it hang. At this point there's one more screw here that needs to be taken out. This one has a plastic washer on it, a nylon washer, so just don't lose the washer. That's everything undone that you need to undo to do this job. Right, to remove the filler cap, there's two pipes. One has a clip on it and one is just pushed on. The one with a clip on at this side you can release just by twisting it, and it will come off. You don't need to take the clip off. You can just tease it off and it will slide off. There's a rubber gasket underneath, just keep an eye on that. This one just slides off, and that's the filler cap out. Remember, no naked flames because you've got an open petrol cap. Right, fitting is very simple. You get the new cap, put that pipe on, just ease it on. That's it, ease it on, yeah. It comes with a gasket on, so you don't need to change the gasket. As a gasket on, you can just lift it into place. Best thing to do now is just secure it with a couple of bolts. Just secure it down with a couple of bolts, just to stop you dropping anything in there. And because it's to seal your petrol tank up from fumes and stuff. So that's now fitted. Right, the next stage, under here at this side, if you rake under here, you'll find a plug. The plug has a blank in it. Use your screwdriver to clip the little clip back. You should be able to pull the blank out. Like that. This is what powers the cap. Right, the routing of the cable, if you lift this panel up, you can tuck it in. The routing needs to be in this groove here. If you don't get in the groove properly, what you'll find is when you put this panel back on, it won't sit properly. Plug the lead in to the cap, that clips in, and this will tuck nicely out the way under here. Just tuck it out the way under there. So that's it fitted. All we've got to do now is put it back together and test it. So we start off putting this screw back in. Let's watch the nylon washer because it'll get caught. Just make sure everything's seated properly, make sure everything's in the right place, and just nip up, just secure. Don't need to over tighten them, just secure. If you don't, then you know they're through plastic, so you don't want to be breaking anything. So the next stage is to put this back in, slide the rubber back down here. If you tuck the USB cable back under the plastic as you're doing it, yeah, catch the ignition switch, turn ignition on, turn it off again. Yeah, you'll do that numerous times while doing this job. This panel will slip back on. You need to lift this plastic piece out because it goes underneath there, and that should clip on. If you've got everything right underneath, this will all line up nicely. Yeah, the cable's slightly in the wrong place, so I just need to just tweak it a bit. That'll sit down nicely. Still not got the cable quite right. Takes a little bit of trial and error just to get that cable in the right place so it just don't catch. That's it. That's how it wants to be. When you get it right, you'll feel it's right. Right, before we box it all up, we're just going to test the cap. Right, the cap will be open for 60 seconds after the ignition's off. If you turn the ignition on, the cap will be locked. You won't be able to open it. Yep. It's coming up with fuel cap open, which it isn't. It's because I'm lifting that, it's detecting that you're lifting the fuel cap. So that's working. If you look on the screen, fuel cap open, release it, fuel cap shut. If you turn it off, after 60 seconds, it'll lock. Up to that point, you can open it, refuel, shut it as many times as you want within the window of it being unlocked. What we'll do now, while that's going through its motion, while it's going through its locking system procedure, we'll put the rest of these screws in and tighten up the cap properly. So wind these in. And we'll proceed to tighten them up diagonally. And we'll just give them a little final nip. Don't need to go mad because it's into plastic. All we need to do is make the seal so it doesn't leak. Right, that's the cap fitted. It's now locked because the time's passed. Oh no, it isn't. The time hasn't passed. It must be a bit longer. But yeah, after a few minutes it'll lock and you won't be able to open it. And like I said, when the ignition's on, it locks and you can't open it. Ignition off, you can open it and lock it back down. Right, so now what I've got to do now is put the rest of the screws back in. So we'll put these four in first. Same again, just tighten them up. Don't need to go mad. It's only into plastic. That's all back together. Just got the trims to put on now. I'm putting this back in. There's a small clip there that locks under here. Put the slightly longer screw in here. Right, after the junk phone calls, screw in there, everything's tightened up, everything's back together. Filler cap's now locked. Time's out. And that's the keyless filler cap fitted. There's no programming, there's no coding required. It's just plug and pray, or plug and play. Right, thanks for watching.